jury awarded dying man $289 million after finding a popular product has caused his cancer. Rory on right-wing news reports. Monsanto Company is known as a multi-billion-dollar agrochemical and agricultural biotechnology company. They are most well known for their high-profile lawsuits regarding their glyphosate-based herbicide used as a weed killer for farms. Their genetically modified products have received a lot of flack from the media, consumers, farmers, and safety standard regulators. And now they're dealing with a lawsuit like they have never seen before. This is what the Daily Mail reports. Quote, Roundup does cause cancer. The jury has declared in an unprecedented trial into the health dangers of Monsanto's weed killer. After 3 days of deliberations, jurors on Friday sided with terminally ill groundsman Dwayne Johnson, 46 years old, who has just weeks to live, awarding him $250 million in punitive damages, plus nearly $40 million in compensatory damages, bringing the total to $289 million. Specifically, in 8 weeks of proceedings, the jury was left convinced that Monsanto's product caused Johnson's cancer. Addressing a press conference on Friday evening, Johnson thanked his legal team, his wife, Araceli, and their 2 sons. It's like a lot of prayer. I've taken energy from a lot of people. I'm glad to be here to help. Hopefully this thing will start to get the attention it needs. This case is way bigger than me, he said. Johnson's wife spends 14 hours a day working 2 jobs. Lawyer Brent Windsor told the press conference. She was working when her husband's verdict came in, he added. When Johnson's compensation is released, he hopes to use it to enable to spend more time with him and their children, with her and their children, Wisner said. He may also use it to fund a bone marrow transplant. Monsanto will appeal the verdict, and the compensation will only be released when this has been heard. Johnson's lawyers will ask the appellate court to speed up the appeal so the money can be released while their client is, of course, still alive. The groundskeeper who worked for years in Benicia, California, was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a cancer that starts in the white blood cells, in August 2014. He mixed and sprayed hundreds of gallons of Roundup to keep grass and weeds under control. The liable verdict means the case would open the door to hundreds of additional lawsuits against the company recently acquired by German-based pharmaceutical and chemical group Bayer. The first of its kind verdict was delayed as jurors spent hours analyzing the timeline of Johnson's symptoms, the validity of his expert witness testimony, and the discrepancies between Monsanto's medical findings and that of their critics. The jury also found Monsanto, quote, acted with malice, oppression, or fraud, and should be punished for its conduct, end quote. Judge Suzanne Ramos Bolanos announced in court in San Francisco. And of course, you'll see pictures here. I don't want to put any more pictures than what he has on his hand, but it's all over his body. You can see pictures of his back as well. Going back to the article, a reaction to the verdict, co-lead trial counsel Brent Wisner said it was a result of newly revealed confidential company documents. Quote, we were finally able to show the jury the secret internal Monsanto documents providing that Monsanto has known for decades that glyphosate, and specifically Roundup, could cause cancer, end quote, Wisner said. Quote, despite the Environmental Protection Agency's failure to require labeling, we are proud that an independent jury followed the evidence and used its voice to send a message to Monsanto that its years of deception regarding Roundup is over and that they should put consumer safety first over profits, end quote. Ken Cook, president of the Environmental Working Group, said it was a victory for all workers. Quote, Monsanto made Roundup the OxyContin of pesticides, and now the addiction and the addiction and damage they caused have come home to roost, he said. This will not cure Dwayne Lee Johnson's cancer, but it will send a strong message to a renegade company, end quote. Monsanto has long had problems related to lawsuits regarding their controversial products, and these include Agent Orange, PCBs, DDTs, and growth hormones. The primary complaints regarding their products related to the threats to biodiversity, as well as criticisms regarding biopiracy. The products have led to controversies not just in the United States, but also in Argentina, Brazil, China, India, the United Kingdom, basically everywhere they're used. In 2013, Monsanto was accused of having 9 active Superfund sites and 32 that were active and no longer in use. On multiple occasions, they were sued for causing damage to their employees' health due to pollution and poisoning. Later that year, they were facing close to $1 million in financial penalties due to alleged violations of the Plant Protection Act, which were due to the discovery of a volunteer plant found in an Oregon farm. In the same year, the march against Monsanto was held in approximately 436 cities and 52 different countries, where millions were cited as joining in. It was so successful that in May of 2014, a year later, that another was held in 400 cities and 52 various countries, with millions of activists joining in. Another issue occurred several years prior over the span of 3 years, from 2009 to 2011. Monsanto was reportedly guilty of improperly accounting for their incentive rebates. These profits resulted in a $31 million increase in profit over the time period. As a result, they were fined $80 million by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Shortly thereafter, the company overhauled their internal controls, and 2 of the top Monsanto CPAs were suspended and new hiring began. Clearly, Monsanto has had a problem with running their business clean. Now, a victim finally gets the justice they are owed. The hundreds of millions of dollars he was given was just a dip into the pot for a multi-billion company like Monsanto. But at the end of the day, the only way to hurt companies like Monsanto is to hit their pocket. Kindly support by contributing to my Patreon account. You'll find it in the description box below. Thank you.